Dan, do you know who we are?
I do.
We are media fucker. Woo! Men online.
Spoilers ahead for Barbarian, which I've called it The Barbarian about 50 times talking to people, but just Barbarian 2022. This movie is about,
It's about
I
a
don't
Barbie
know.
girl in a Barbie world.
Yeah. A woman staying at an Airbnb discovers that the house she has rented is not what it seems. So all of the trailers, this is big time spoilers. So honestly, spoilers will it'll screw up the big surprise, really. So go see it, pause, come back. So Georgina Campbell, Bill Skarsgård, and Justin Long. Georgina Campbell's great. Bill Skarsgård's great. Justin Long's a dick, which he played his character pretty well.
They actually just had a camera follow him around.
Yeah.
And then they made the movie around what he said. Added CGI after.
Yep. She shows up, and I really did enjoy how they worked a lot of this stuff because Georgina Campbell shows up at night at an Airbnb. She opens the lockbox and the key is gone. And it turns out when she's getting ready to go, she sees a light flicker on. There's someone inside. It turns out they double booked the Airbnb. Or did they? Is what I thought. I thought clearly this movie was going to be Bill Skarsgård lets her in.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to sleep. She wakes up in some weird dungeon or something. And the whole thing is him stalking her.
Yeah. And they heavily foreshadow it by just having him be like way too extra.
He's
like
so nice.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a creepy nice.
Yep.
Like, oh no, we don't need to go to bed in the way that you say it. Let's do laundry and have wine first.
Oh yeah.
And then what a coincidence. We work in the same industry. Wow, that's so random.
Yeah. And we've seen the same obscure movie.
Yeah. They've seen not movie. They've seen the same documentary. This is not a Netflix documentary. This is a blockbuster documentary, as in blockbuster movies.
Yeah, it's like one of those documentaries you have to go on a random website to pay to download the MP3.
Yeah, it was it was a documentary about jazz, I think, but not just jazz, like 1980s Detroit, West Side jazz.
Yeah, a very specific genre, and he's one of the 3 people who've seen it.
Like the guy, the cameramen have only seen half of it because he took turns doing it and didn't watch the movie when they were done.
I gotta ask you a question. So they do the laundry. He comes in. She can't find any hotels because there's a convention in town. So she's just gonna stay the night.
That's correct. There is a convention in town, which is why every hotel in Detroit is full. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
it's a hell of a convention. It's actually a huge tragedy. Thousands of people died because all the doctors are in Detroit. Just all of them.
Could you imagine something being in New York City that's so... I know I said New York City, but New York City I have a frame of reference for. I've never been to Detroit. But something that would make it so that all of the hotels were booked.
No, I couldn't imagine that. I mean, I could imagine all the hotels being booked because it was a specific day. To book up New York, you would literally have to have the Olympics happen.
Yeah, I have one. I would bet you that when the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, February 4th, 2018, I would guarantee you that there were no hotels left in Philadelphia. If the Detroit Lions ever won the Super Bowl, that's what it would be.
Also, if they hosted, yeah. I mean, honestly, in America, the Super Bowl was bigger than the Olympics would be.
What I'm saying is they have a parade celebration when they win, and there were 3 million people or whatever at the parade for the Eagles. So if the Lions, who've never even been to a Super Bowl, ever won, that the homecoming parade would be.
Oh, so you're saying that people after the Super Bowl was over, not them hosting the Super Bowl, but after the Super Bowl was over, you're saying that people would go book a plane and a hotel or an Airbnb and fly to go to the parade.
100%.
Here's
Especially
how
a
disconnected
team.
I am. I didn't know there was a parade related to the series. I
They
thought
do it for all sports.
I thought they just burned a bunch of late model cars and called it a day.
Yeah. Even the WNBA, they get like 12 people together and have a parade.
I would assume there was some sort of event afterwards, but I didn't know it was like a big deal. I mean, like I once went had to stop at traffic for a parade. That there were more people in the parade than on the entire. I know that because I parked my car and went to go walk around. Like I was gonna go walk around the parade.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went through the parade
Then
when I couldn't find a good place to cross. No one noticed except for the people in the parade. What are they going to do? Chase me? I know where you're going.
oh, I have a question for you. So they do the sheets, right?
Yeah.
He does this thing. What is he doing with the sheets? What kind of sheet situation was that when he puts it over his head?
Okay, so do you not know what a duvet is?
Duvet, no.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, think of a pillowcase.
Oh, it's a pillowcase for a blanket?
It's a pillowcase for a whole blanket, correct.
Oh.
That way you can wash the outside of the blanket without having to wash the whole blanket.
She had him wash the blankets because he was sleeping on the blankets.
And then he wore it, yes.
He wore the blanket.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? Is it because she warmed up to him now? Now she was like ready to get with him? He saw that documentary, so he has to be.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that is probably what happened. It would have been a perfect moment in the movie if, like, after she wore, like, well, we gotta wash it in because you wore it like a ghost costume. So, like, she goes to the Airbnb, but one thing you have to realize is that she drove through a neighborhood and like nothing's lit up, and then while she's in there, like, looking around, she notices it's a bad neighborhood. If you saw that neighborhood, would you even stay there alone? Like,
no.
There are only two situations in which a neighborhood looks like that. One has been closed for shooting, and you can use that in whatever context you want. And two is because the virus outbreak has killed all humans. There's no other option. That many abandoned houses, you're gonna have like, junkies squatting there and stuff like that. In fact, you do have like a really scary guy in that neighborhood, like chasing and yelling at people. But apparently not stealing anything from the very nice looking cars.
So what they do when she first pulls up, they have her get out and slowly look around the neighborhood. And since it's so dark out, it looks like a normal neighborhood. And the next morning, they show it.
Okay, but it's not a normal neighborhood because there are no lights on.
None. There's not even any street lights.
I mean, even going through the country, you're still gonna like people have lights out of their mailbox. They don't want people like stealing, like going through their trash and stuff. Like I've lived in the sticks and I lived in like rural areas. There's always some lights.
Yeah.
And this has no lights. I think there might be a couple street lights, but like all the houses are dark.
And then when they show it in the morning, they're all abandoned. Is it? I didn't even think about this, but is it because we'll get to what it is. But the thing that's the problem in this movie is that why they're all abandoned? Because they said it comes out at night.
I feel like if people wanted to live there, like someone would have been like, yeah, you can get me out. Like you'd have like at least one person pulling a Gran Torino out there with a gun.
Yeah.
But like they shoot him as if he's like a really a really creepy character. Like she comes around the corner, he's just sitting there like a Five Nights at Freddy's villain or whatever. He didn't like have his cell phone and was scrolling through. He was just fucking staring at the drywall where she was gonna walk past. But yeah, but my last note for the non-horror story part of it is just, I'm sorry, if a clean Cherokee is safe outside, it's not a bad neighborhood. Like, I'm sorry, my standard of neighborhood starts being bad after the cars aren't safe.
Yeah, at least they would take the tires. At least. So the first half of the movie's pretty much split into two parts. The first half of the movie is Georgina Campbell and Bill Skarsgård. She gets locked in the cellar because this door weirdly closes shut. She left her phone up on the table. She left her keys up on the table. She took the key from the little lockbox so Bill Skarsgård can't get in when he gets home. So she starts venturing into this basement, and there's a secret room.
Yes.
It's like a room where either someone's being raped or someone's being murdered or both.
Okay,
There's a bed, a
this is
bucket.
This is all a setup for making it look like old Billy Boy is the psychopath still.
It's a bed, a bucket, and a camera. And Bill Skarsgård gets home.
Okay, saying it's a bed is an understatement. It is a bed covered in dried fluids.
Yeah.
Mostly blood, but also worse stuff, I assume. And there's like handprints on the wall, bloody handprints.
Blood
so
prints,
there's one option. Either it's a very, very poorly run medical school, or B, rape and murder room.
Let's not rule A out yet. We don't know.
Let's give Bill a chance. Let's see if he has a stethoscope covered in blood.
Yeah, so and a turkey baster for some reason. Bill Skarsgård gets home. He wants to check out the room. He goes in, and Georgina Campbell is staying up to the top of the stairs. She almost lets it shut again and locking them both down there. But she's staying up at the top of the stairs to make sure the door doesn't shut, and she's scared. He's gone. He disappeared into this abyss. There's another secret room inside the secret room, which leads down to a cave.
It's like a quarter mile of like stone walls that make you think like, why is Detroit empty? We need to mine this like high quality stone. And then it's one room and then like another 2 miles of tunnels. Like, I want to know what like psychopath was like drawing these plans, but he had a big old sheet of paper when he did it. This house is 97% hallway. She goes down to look for toilet paper, and then she finds a rope for the worst hidden door outside of a $7 escape room I've ever seen.
Yeah.
One of the things that made me think that he was the psychopath is the way he responded to her being scared. So we described the murder room, and she described it to him, not as well as we did, but as well as you could expect someone who just saw a murder room to describe it. I think, because she was obviously perturbed. And he's like, wait, so you're scared because you found a room with a bed and a bucket in it? And I'm like, he says that like 3 times. I'm like, you're missing the camera. There's a camera pointing at the bucket of blood. And he's like, to me, it seems like he is being intentionally dense.
Yeah.
You know how like when a kid like doesn't want to do the dishes, so they wash them really bad, and then they put it in the cabinet covered in soap and like spaghetti sauce. They're like, what? I washed them. What? Why don't you show me how to do it? Like, listen here, you little shit. You just don't want to do your chores. Anyway, enough about my childhood. And like it was that kind of like weaponized incompetence that made me think like this guy is definitely trying to like lure her down there for whatever reason, with his like mechanical door or his like pet ghost door or whatever. And then he makes it even worse by like going deep into the tunnel system. Like he saw that murder and he was like, oh, I should keep going. Who would keep going? No one. Absolutely no one would keep going. It's less realistic than people staying in the house in a poltergeist movie. Or if like the couch is spitting up blood and shooting knives, and they're like, he must have, I've had too much to drink tonight. And like they clean up the blood and then just go to sleep. It's just like the weirdest thing to me, that like the fact that he went down there and he wasn't the bad guy still bothers me to today. Yeah, so he's down there yelling for help, and she goes into what is obviously his trap. She runs into him, and I don't really understand why he couldn't come to her, because he's not like being tied down or held or anything. He says something bit him. And for that reason, he's ran deeper into the murder cave.
Yeah, he wanted her to go with him in the direction he just ran from, where he was bitten for some reason. And you think it's all bullshit. You think he's still trying to lure her into her death. And then this 6'6" demon woman pops out.
I'm gonna go 7'5" on that.
And she just starts smashing his head against the rocks, and then lets out like a fucking scream. I was completely shocked at this point. And it literally cuts to like the coast in California.
Yeah,
bright
so
sunny day.
To describe it, a bit more. Picture Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Now imagine Gollum is like, I don't know, 7.5 feet tall and just has some big old swinging titties. And that's it. That is all you need to know. But yeah, I'm now that I think about how big it was, I'm pretty sure it had to be like more than 7 feet tall because that pit was so big that she had that for her to get out, she had to do like a running jump to go up and grab the top. And it was like doing the bottle thing from like on top of the cage. So like her arm is like 5 feet long. I'm pretty sure there's more wingspan than height there. But yeah, so after like he gets his head smashed and she yells at him, then we just cut to car.
Yeah, we cut to Justin Long driving a Porsche on the coast of California. And it was a shocking 2 minutes of events because the whole time you think this is stalker movie in a house, right? With
Yeah.
some sort of, action going on. But the whole thing I thought was going to be like he's slowly like working her over,
Mm-hmm.
But it went into it. They're in the basement. They're in the basement's basement. He gets murdered savagely, and then we're in California. Justin Long's on the phone. He's some sort of producer or writer for a TV series. He's being removed for, quote, sexual aggression, which they later describe as rape. I was like, what the hell is sexual aggression?
So they needed to make him a bad guy that you can like kill and feel pretty okay with killing him. But they also didn't want to make the whole movie about him.
So Justin Long, he's taken off of his show. He's doesn't have a job. He's going to be broke within, I think it was 2 or 3 months, based on the lawyer fees of fighting the case against the accuser. So he's flying back to Detroit, which is his hometown, so he can liquidate his assets to survive more so in California. How he expects to sell a house in Detroit to pay for his condo on the beach in Hollywood is beyond me, but sure, let's go with it. When you were in this movie, was it packed? Were there a few people?
There were a handful of people there.
Okay.
Which is a lot for the time of day that I went, because I usually go to matinees.
So we went later in the evening on the opening night, and it was pretty, I would say it was about 70 to 75% full. And this part had everyone dying laughing when Justin Long gets to his house in Detroit, which obviously is the Airbnb. If it wasn't, this would be a very bizarre movie, more so than anything else. He is measuring the house to sell. He gets into the basement, finds the secret room. He's passing by the rape room with the camera.
And then he measures it.
He's just measuring it. He's just like, oh my God, there's so much space. And then he finds the secret door.
So much square footage.
He's literally going down these stone steps into this hell pit. Backwards. Just fucking measuring how much space he has.
Yeah, just like look at all these hallways. There's so much room for no activities. It has an underground running track. Like, what the fuck is the space for?
So he gets captured by the demon, and he's thrown into a pit. And our main girl, Georgina Campbell, is still alive. She is also in the pit. We find out that all you have to do is cooperate, and you can survive. So since Bill Skarsgård tried to run away instead of getting breastfed, he had his head smashed against the wall. So who had the more brutal death, Justin Long or Bill Skarsgård?
Oh, Justin Long. He had his eyes gouged out.
Or gouged in?
Yeah, gouged in. That's got to be more painful than just like, because I'm pretty sure that Bill died like on the first swing. Yeah, I don't think he felt the second one. If he felt the first one,
at least he would be unconscious, very least, by getting your head smashed in a stone wall by a 13-foot hell demon, whatever she is.
We just keep on making her taller. She's gonna be Godzilla by the end of this.
She's gonna be 26 feet. So this 40-foot one, no. Where is she getting the milk, by the way? So she is making that milk. There's no baby though, right?
Yes, there is. There are 2 babies.
I didn't know that's how that worked.
And there's 2 babies, and she keeps them in a pit.
Oh God. So she has a bottle of milk, and Georgina Campbell keeps telling Justin Long to drink the fucking milk. He won't cooperate. So she takes him out. She puts him in this little room where there's a 1970s TV
Hmm.
in the corner, just showing a repeat over and over of a woman
Breastfeeding
breastfeeding.
instructional video.
Yeah. So she tries to breastfeed Justin Long with her hairy demon nipple. That's where that note came into play.
Oh, yeah, why wasn't that in the trailer? Could you imagine if that was the trailer?
You suck the nip if that's you.
I I don't know.
So this also insinuates that Georgina Campbell sucked the nip. So
Yeah.
we'll just say that. So then we flash back to how this all started. Apparently back in the 30s or whenever the time period was. What would you say? Maybe the 50s? I don't know. There's a guy who's capturing, raping, and killing women, but only after they give birth, and then he's raping the
The children,
child
yes. Yes.
of the so basically his daughter, then his granddaughter, then his great granddaughter, and that's what this is. What is he? Is it like reverse of China? If he gets a boy, he like throws it off a cliff. Like, is that what we're doing?
Yeah, yeah, we're Lord of the Ringsing this one.
Yeah.
I mean, not Lord of the Rings. Who's that guy like on the other side of the wall in Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah, yeah. I can't. I don't remember his name, but yeah. So that's essentially how all this happened. How they dug the tunnel. I don't remember if they showed that or not, but
No, they did
I guess
not
if you have a
show. Like,
43-foot demon woman, she could just crawl through it, right?
yeah, yeah, I don't really get like. I mean, because those tunnels. I mean, he couldn't have had all those kids in that basement and in the murder room, right? So did he like just dig those himself? Maybe that's what the boys were for. They were forced to work in the mines to make
Yeah,
that fucking tunnel.
that's true. There's a whole situation where Georgina Campbell escapes. Justin Long's still down there. She tries to call the police multiple times
Yeah.
in this movie, and they're like, go fuck yourself. But she gets the cops over at one point. They won't go into the house. You can't get a hold of the lady who was controlling the property while Justin Long was in California.
Hmm.
Can't get a hold of anyone. Nobody's answering the door, obviously, because Justin Long's in the basement.
They
So my
also
thought,
they also don't care that she says she broke that window.
right? My thought was, why don't you break the window and go into the house, like one of the windows upstairs, or crawl back in the basement? Then they'll have to come in, right? They see you committing a crime, or maybe they'll still just leave. These cops don't want to do shit anyways.
I get that she's like trying to save a life, but I don't think I go down there. Because I mean, here's the thing: if she goes through that window, like for all she knows, like the thing is waiting around the corner to grab her by the face and drag her back in there.
You could at least go in the dining room window, like,
I
oh, I'm breaking in.
Well, then they're just gonna drag you away, and then you're under arrest. I mean, like if the cops catch someone breaking into your house, they don't like fix the window before they leave.
What do you mean?
I mean, I think like if you like they can't get a hold of you, they just arrest the person, and then the house damage is on you.
Right. So if you break in, they got to go in and get you.
Yeah, they're not gonna go downstairs.
Unless you run downstairs, then at least that way you got two cops with guns. I mean, one of them will probably die, right? At least one, but at least there'll be some guns in play. But
I
that's
mean,
that's the only thing I could think of was just
Mhm.
fucking action crash through the window and be like, all right, I'm breaking in this person's house. Be like Kevin McAllister. Gotta come and get me. That's the only way I could think of because these cops didn't want to do shit.
But yeah, I think she lost them. Like, did she tell them it was like a 14-foot golem in there? Because if I'm the cop, like there are two possibilities. One, I got to spend the rest of the year being the guy that went looking for Gollum, or two, I'm the guy that found Gollum. I don't want either of those things to happen.
I think she just was saying that there's someone in trouble in there or someone's, yeah, I don't know. She crashes. The thing only comes out at night, apparently. So it comes out to get her. She crashes her car into it, and somehow it still escapes. Justin Long and Georgina Campbell meet up with the homeless guy who, right on cue, I mean, classic horror movie style. Oh, we're safe here because she'll never crashes through the wall and kills him. It's like, okay,
Yep.
there went him.
Because I mean, it was pretty obvious. Because yeah, she didn't go after him because he isn't one of her babies. But
Right.
now he's got two babies in there. Like I imagine if you put a baby bear into a car, the bear's going in the car.
Right. they're running from this thing, and they're going up like a water tower or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the structure was. They're running up the stairs to the top, and in order to use her as bait, Justin Long literally throws Georgina Campbell off of the structure. That was another point I was absolutely shocked, which, you know, if you're trying to survive and you don't really give a shit about the one person who was trying to save you is the only reason that she's there.
Yeah.
You know, I guess that's what you do. I mean, I can't blame him, but he's definitely a piece of shit.
I feel like that's not a smart thing to do because you don't know, like, I mean, she's pretty monstrous. Like, I wouldn't have expected like her to just like be that disabled by like the fall because I know how gravity works. You can't like she jumps down, which I don't think would really work because like because the monster isn't Superman. So like what would happen is like you would actually throw her off the water tower or whatever. She would run to the side and see her go splat, and then you're up there with her. That's what would really happen. And then you're nice and truly fucked. What you should do is push her towards the monster and try to find a hiding spot. Like, let's split up. You go that way. But like, I mean, climbing the water tower, like, I mean, yeah, I think your only hope since you're up the water tower is to try and find the gun. So you've got to have time to find the gun and have another shot at like shooting it. But also, why did she let him keep the gun? Like I'm sorry, why don't you like shoot? It wasn't like she jumped out and yelled, "Hey." She was fucking standing in the light and he shot her. Like, no, you lose your gun privileges forever, sir. This is why they banned guns in California, because that whole asshole's running around. It's like, no, give me that shit. Why are you carrying it around? No.
The monster jumps off the tower and like protects Georgina Campbell. Justin Long goes down to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I had to," and all that shit. The monster
instead of
pops
going
up
and finding the gun,
or just running, like you had your chance,
and
she just thumb knucks deep in his eyes and fucking. You know, I've seen Justin Long in 2 horror movies in my life. In both times he died via his eyes. Little
wow.
trivia for him. Yeah. Jeepers Creepers was the other one, the first one. He spoilers for a fucking 25-year-old movie. He's dead at the end with no eyes. Yeah, stupid.
Yeah, he basically walks up, like he pulls a Dragon Ball Z and just assumes that the villain's dead.
Yeah.
Because he saw the car thing, right? Like it's the movie is pretty, I think is really well done. The acting is good. I wouldn't want to watch it again because I think the suspense would get real boring. It was enjoyable when I watched it. Like I was on the edge of my seat.
I have a question about this before we give our ratings and the numbers and all that. Is the woman who's in charge of the Justin Long house, the main house in this story, is she in on this whole situation? Is she one of the kids? My question was about the woman. Is she in on it? Because she says that she sends a cleaner when she's talking to Justin Long. She says after they leave, they send a cleaner, not before a new guest checks in.
No. They said the house is cleaned before a guest shows up, not after they leave.
Right. So the reverse, yeah.
Yeah.
The point is, every single time they send a cleaner there, there's everyone's shit still there. Suitcases, toothbrushes, everything is still there every time.
I mean, how do you know that this has happened before? Like with random people. So between like when the monster lady, I don't know, got like big enough to take care of her father or whatever, and when what's her name is given the nipple, so to speak, how do we know that there are victims in between?
I mean, we don't know for sure, but the assumption is pretty heavy.
I mean, because the only time that like she grabs someone is after they go into that secret door, which would mean that every single victim has walked past the murder room and then
that's not true, because the first night the monster comes upstairs and checks on them, which my assumption, because it does come out, it comes out at night.
I didn't see it come upstairs. It could have, I mean,
yeah, the doors shut down the hallway.
I mean, the doors open and close by themselves though.
Her door is open as well because she accuses him of opening her door passively.
I assume that was just more magic door.
So what you think is that this has never happened before?
I mean, I'm just saying we have no way of knowing.
I'm asking, is she in on it? Because presumably every single time there's shit left behind. Or maybe the cleaner is just like, hey, free shit. I only get paid $14 an hour. Might as well take this iPod and headphones. I don't know. How many pairs of headphones can you have? Anyways, that is all I got. Do you have any other notes on Barbarian?
No, it's a pretty good movie. Just don't think about it too much, like we did. That's our job.
I really hope you went and watched it before this. Yeah, check it out. $10.5 million was the budget. And as of yesterday, September 23rd, Barbarian has made $24 million. So it's made more than double at the box office. So it's doing pretty well. Go out and see it. I mean, if you've made it this far, you've seen it, I hope. 10,000 plus ratings, including mine on IMDb for a 7.6 out of 10. Where do you sit?
I'll probably give it a 7. It's pretty good, but
okay.
I don't think I'd want to watch it again.
For me, as horror movies go, and I love me some horror movies, and I love, when there's nudity, especially when it's a 51-foot woman with hairy nipples. I'm really into it. So for me, this is an 8.5. I watch a lot of horror movies, a lot of shitty horror movies and a lot of weird ones, and this one had my attention. I did see it twice at the theater, and I knew the twist was coming, but it still hits well on a second watch, even though I knew what was happening. I wish I had a video camera when I was in shock at the swap, at the reveal, and then the California scene. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Enough about that. Enough about a lot of things, because I think that's going to do it for us for the week, the evening. I don't know. What time is it? Oh, it's only noon. We started early. Okay. Do you have anything else on anything else? Anything you wanted to talk about before we wrap it on up here?
No. Barbarian, pretty good movie. See How They Run, very good movie. I'm actually going to watch See How They Run again.
Pearl, bad movie. Don't watch it. And so we will catch you guys later.
Unless you consistently disagree with Dan, then it's a big plus.
Yeah, go see it. Let me know what you think in the comments below, please. Actually, yeah, go see it. Tell me how wrong I am about Pearl.
Yeah, go and explain all those 9 and 10 out of 10 ratings on Pearl.
Yeah, please.
But it's a horror movie, right?
Barely. It tries to be a horror movie.
Maybe I'll go see it with like the mental plan of not finishing it if it's boring.
Okay, yeah. Go see it around
not.
the same time that See How They Run is. And then just switch over.
Thank you for listening to Media Men Online.
Yay.